Hello. Hello, everybody. We should be live. We should be here. All in for the episode 27 of the Dragon Ball Legends podcast, of course. Just doing a quick audio check. Let me know if you can hear me, as well as everybody else in the chat. We'll go ahead and give Palm the floor. Before we start, Jen, thank you for all the gifted subs, dog. You're MVP. But yeah, Professor, Palm, take the floor.
I am Palm Professor Sensei, FPS. Welcome everybody to Dragon Ball Legends podcast 17 and a Dream here on Pve Gaming. So before we start, as always, make sure to check us out on all our social media presences: YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, Reddit. Probably have a LinkedIn at some point. I don't know. Do your thing. And yeah, today's week was a little bit dry, but we have some topics that we want to speculate on with you. So we're going to talk about, obviously, Zenkai Super 17. We're going to be talking a little bit about what we are expecting from the new game mode. They already announced some QOL, so quality of life features, on Twitter, so we want to just talk about that, about those. Obviously, we know tomorrow is video and stuff, so let's see what that has in store. Think about what the next month LF could be, and yeah, speculate some more. Today, I am joined by Tom.
What's up?
We got Bradical in the house.
What up?
You already heard Naz Dorachi.
Yep, so I'll spend my good hello saying, just remember, chat, everyone, we will be live tomorrow reacting to the video and stuff. It starts at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. We're starting half an hour early, so be sure to come park your butts here tomorrow morning, because we're going to be going over all the new fun stuff.
You heard the man. And we have Prof.
Oh, hey, Palm. I'm Prof.
Hey, Prof, I'm Palm. Hey, Ryuden, I'm Palm. How are you?
Hello.
And we are joined by the boy Swift.
Hey.
And with that said, we are going to start off with the obvious one topic, the one thing that happened in this game since last week, and that is Super 17. Tom, I've seen you put out a super early showcase, so that means you enjoyed him?
Yes. So far, I've tested him on different teams. Androids, red, greens. He's amazing for me. He does so much. He does damage. He does defense. He's the perfect unit for me. Did you guys Senka him?
Yeah, we. It's great that we're covering this thing first, because we were just discussing prior to beginning the podcast about, because I had the fortune of facing Tom's wonderful green, red Android horrifying team setup, and this 17. Honestly, if a unit is going to force you to play a little bit differently, if it's going to pressure you and make you more cautious, then that's a very, very good unit. And when we were facing off 17, I was too afraid to use blast cards. Certainly blue cards weren't possible either, because I was running with Shallot and I wanted to throw Goku Black's blue card on him, and the whole time I'm thinking, when's 17 going to show up? How am I going to deal with 17? So a unit that has that much presence, that much pressure on you, he's honestly great. This guy is a great start to GT getting buffed up. I mean, so oppressive, so tanky, very, very annoying. He's definitely a huge first start for GT. He's big asset for them. Unfortunately for androids as well, but I mean, for GT, this is a very good start.
Something that is low-key sleeper really good about him is he's one of the only characters besides Bojack who can cover save in front of most blue cards. Obviously, it doesn't work against melee supers, but if it's any type of beam or energy super, very unique and powerful. And he can just be like, oh, you're shooting a Kamehameha? Let me drink that right up. Here I am. It's really good.
Yeah, and in contrast to Bojack, he actually takes some health for that back too and gets some key, right? And destroys one of your cards. Super annoying.
Dude, yeah, the more I play this guy, the more my opinion on him just gets better and better. He is actually very good.
Yeah, he's giving me the same kind of vibes that Broly has. He's so well rounded. He has his niche, and the dude can take a hit. I've been running my purple Gohan lately because I've been running the Super Saiyan 3 and Super 17 all the time, and it almost doesn't matter versus this guy. You just kind of have to have a slugfest to take him out or rush him.
Yeah,
they stacked him with really high, and by that I mean almost 200k to both defenses, and they gave him 2.76 million health on top of that as a baseline. So he's a thick boy, I'll say that.
Yeah, that is true. Like I played him for a video that we're gonna see in a second here on the B-roll. I played him with like the Immortal Androids team. I used only HP bench buffers, and him and 16, I think they both had about 4 million HP. They just don't die. I just, somebody on stream was like, just put all bench buffers on, see what happens. And yeah, you just play those 2 greens with 18. You have 2 tanks and you have a damage dealer that doesn't care about reds, save for maybe Gohan when she's getting hit. And yeah, that's just insane.
And what's so nasty about that team is having 18 on there, it really scares the enemy into not bringing a purple unit. And it's actually crazy because you kind of need a purple unit. So yeah, that is a nasty team.
The crazy part is also how this works so well with Red Cell 2, who is quite literally the dude you want to take the Rising Rush. So not only are they super tanky, they deal stupid amounts of damage, but on a technical level, it just feels like they're above the other teams too. Because like, oh, what's that? You got a rush? Your ace in the pocket? It doesn't matter. Red Cell's just going to eat it up, and then it's back to you, just another 3v3. But by the time, you've taken care of Cell's first life, I mean, it's already stacked against you. It's just such a steep hill to climb because they're all so tanky, so strong, so annoying. The Androids team just ridiculous, honestly. Red Cell 18, Zenkai 7, 16, Super 17, Blue 21. Oof. It's big yikes.
So do you all think that he replaces Green 21 on the Androids team?
I think for what he brings to the table, he might.
Like I love her IT cover and I love her flash, and those are the 2 things that get me coming back to 21. But his generic bulk lets you make mistakes, and we'd all be kidding ourselves if we didn't think we made those, right? And so I kind of like him more than Green 21 at the moment.
I think there's room I just think there's room for both of them real quick. Like, you have the females Android sub build, or you could go with, it's better to have options than to not have them, I guess, right?
Well, she can still be on the bench. Like, she has an amazing Z ability. And if they don't have a viable purple unit, you can go crazy with triple green if you want.
Triple, yeah, I was about to say, would you run triple green or just bench 16 instead at that point?
I would probably run both units.
Yeah, I mean, 16 is definitely a must if you're playing Super 17, just because of the Zenkai buffs. And absolutely honest, like late game, that Super 17 is such a beast. I too blast carded a transformed green Rosé. Yeah, 2 blast cards. I don't remember the stars he had, and obviously mine was 14, but still 2 cards is just pretty crazy.
Yeah, and he starts out slow. In the beginning, he doesn't do the best damage, but if you get all his uniques done, like Battle Member dead, a green card, his main, he absolutely shreds the opponents.
Yeah, and then don't forget, he brings back that super annoying ultimate, right? I mean, he always had it, but now that he's viable, you're going to see that more often again.
Not only that, but the most important thing that people forget about him is you want to swap him in to get the last hit on whoever you're killing. And if you can do that twice, you just get like extra free 40% permanent damage, right?
It's 20 timer counts, I think.
No, I think it's a permanent 20% extra damage.
Yeah, if he's the one who kills somebody, he'll get a permanent.
Pretty sure it's permanent.
Yeah.
No, I have it open, but I think it's every time you switch in, you have it for 20 timer counts.
Oh, look at the other
for killing.
No, there's an addial passive.
No, he has
finishes
it
someone
for killing.
off.
Look at the second part of the unsettling smirk, I think it is. No, it's the second part of the Dr. Muse absorption.
Glowing energy, the final line of text says 20% of damage inflicted every time this character defeats an enemy cannot be cancelled.
Growing energy. Okay, it's the first passive.
There we go.
Yes. It's the same kind of thing that Yellow Goku Black has.
What a nightmare.
Did they make that? They made that permanent with the Zenkai, right?
No, he already had it before, and that's like where all his damage came from, like back before he was Zenkai, which is why it was so tricky to use him, because a lot of times you didn't get the kill with him because he didn't do any damage, right? So it was just hard to do. But now it's a lot easier now. I guess.
Well, his little heal too, like I feel like that gets understated too. He activates 3 times to heal 10%. So if he goes in on a big hit 3 times, he's going to heal 30% HP. Or if he's already taken damage, he's going to keep healing. So I don't know. I'm really happy with this unit and how they came out with him. I feel like he's right on the edge of being broken, but he's not.
Yeah, so he's
I wish if they're gonna take the liberty of starting to buff GT, I wish they started with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta as opposed to 17, because most people are, you know, that meme where it's like, you know, forget who's holding your hand, you're looking back to what's more interesting.
Yeah.
People are looking at androids and not GT, so I feel like androids don't need any more help. It would have been way better if it was Vegeta, because Sans with a new red, Vegeta family needs some Zenkais. Like, I think it would have been way better if they started there. But now we're back to this. I so many androids.
Now that you say that, I actually really agree with that. Because obviously, Purple Super Saiyan 4 Goku Sun family probably doesn't need it. But yeah, Vegeta family could have used that, so that would have been nice.
Yeah. Vegeta family GT would have been a nice little, and a little bit more pressure on androids, because 18 feels a little uncontested. And I know that there's Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, but I mean, like, for teams like Godki that don't have a prominent red, I don't know, introduce more reds to put more pressure on the androids team, because right now they're just beating everyone with a bat, not worried about anything.
Yeah, that's a huge one too, with 18.
So
Brad,
straight up defensively, I don't have him Zenkai now. Sorry, there's a plane flying over at the moment. Would you say that he's better straight up defensively? No other thing about him than 16? Because I haven't used him at all.
Well, he doesn't take the damage as well, but his thing is he can ignore all that with his green cuts. He can just heal back up again, and the unique where he gains 10% per each hit. Like, he's super tanky and gets HP back without being in cover cut. I would put him above 16.
I literally didn't even look at him. I kind of just like blew him off. I was like, whatever, I don't really care, but he does look pretty tantalizing when I actually look at his stuff.
Well, I mean,
I'm kind of like,
he's got the blast.
I could spend $40 real quick, you know.
I would say he's gonna probably do more damage faster than 16, because 16 doesn't really start doing any damage until he gets hit a bunch of times to start stacking up his buffs. And he's gonna have more nuance to his kit, right? Like, ooh, paralyze and suck up the energy attacks. So he has more like tactical options, and he has, you know, a little bit better sustain in combat and makes damage a little bit better, but overall it's probably less of a brick wall than 16. Something, I'm watching your footage, Palm, and this is something I've always had a question about. Because you know when you cover save with 16, he's supposed to get 50% of the health back. If you immediately swap out before you let the combo end and reset, does he not get that?
I think he should.
Because I was just like watching your health bar earlier when you swapped, and I couldn't tell if you actually got any health back when you immediately swapped him out, like still in the middle of a combo.
So that's a speculation, because I also never look at that, but I think that he should get it.
Yeah, I think he should.
You're saying you don't get the HP?
Yeah,
I was curious. I don't know the unit, so I wasn't able to comment. But I know there's units like Yellow Gohan and stuff that, like, the end thing says, like, when the opponent's combo is over, and if you swap units, that combo never ended technically on that unit. It ends on the next unit. So I wouldn't expect him to get the HP back.
Yeah, I was watching.
Chewy's saying he does, and he actually plays the unit. So I don't know. I wouldn't be able to say either way.
Rough to say. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed him. And I've seen people play him in Super Toxic with Hercule and Android 18. So good.
Oh, God.
I remember I played it on stream, and we made a bet prediction how many good parties I would get in the next 6 matches. I was surprised. I got none. I was like, what the hell is wrong with people?
Okay.
Why are you so...
They're used to it. They're used to it.
I know why,
Yeah,
Palm.
like...
It's because you didn't... It should be Blue Hercule, the 1000-Day Bulma, and then Super 17. And there would have been your good party team.
Yeah, probably. It's just like, why are you guys so wholesome today? People in chat didn't like it so much. They wanted the good parties from me, obviously, but yeah, I really enjoy this unit. And as you said, Nas, he's very, he doesn't have that straightforward kit. Like, for example, the difference between Kid Buu and Android 21 for me is, Kid Buu does different stuff, even if 21 might be a better support. But you have that green card with Kid Buu, and here's the same. You have a special green card. You have the cover change. You have the defensiveness and the late game ability to just stack damage. And this It makes him so much fun to play, in my opinion. And I'm not even top rank right now. I don't know how it is up there. I don't know, Prof, Tom, do you see them up there at all?
Constantly.
Yeah?
Well, Prof and I fought yesterday, right?
Yeah, I see Tom's, but I tell you, Super 7, I run a blue purple Broly team, right? That's really fun. And Super 17 is the reason why I don't want to run that right now, because I'm gonna find, you know, a wall of green plus 18. I'm like, great, wonderful. Broly can crit the brick wall now. Like and it's frankly, Broly can still do it, and he has on a couple occasions, but I'm having to run my hybrids now just to deal with this dude. Like the Android team is insane at the moment. And I think this was just the unit to tip him over, if you would.
Yeah, you could tell by his Zenkai ability that they wanted to push him towards GT, but this is that design limitation that Gresh was talking about, right? It's just like, well, the GT team isn't really there, so why not just use him on Androids where he's really good already? And it's just like, oh.
Honestly, that I think that's more telling of how the choice was not the right one. Like, if their thought process is Androids is going to be more favorable despite him being a GT character because they know Androids is better, that should tell them, like, okay, then that means we have to look elsewhere for buffing up GT. It wouldn't make any sense to give it to
I tell you what, guys, I'm almost certain the reason why it's green GT and not green Androids is because you would have green 21 and 16 truly unstoppable at this point. Yeah. Right now, he's receiving the buffs, but he's only giving his typical Z ability. Like, if he's already this good on Androids and they gave him the Android green Z ability, it would just be that much harder to take these guys out. It's like the same reason, like, you know, Red Gohan. Well, I guess there are a few Red Sun family, but he's kind of selfish on my team because he does, you know, Red Sun family only for his Zenkai ability. But I got the Red Trunks, similar situation, buffing him. So I don't know. I feel like that was very much on purpose because Androids would be too powerful.
Yeah, that's like they tried, but GT's still not enticing enough to want to make people run him where they intended to run him. They're just throwing him on.
Well, no, I don't think he was ever intended to run on GT. I think this is an eternal buff. Same thing with like Android 21 and how the fact that her Zenkai ability has her buffing yellow androids, right? What yellow android is there, right? This is an eternal limitation. Yeah, exactly. And her main Z ability is actually for females, so even if you do try to utilize that on Cell, it's kind of productive. You have to be going for some kind of YYB setup if you're trying to get maximum utilization out of your Z abilities. So she's not even going to be optimal, you know, in a good amount of time, just because they did mismatched it. And I believe 17 was in the same favor, is that they know he's going to be too good if the GT team comes together and everything just flows into that. I think Androids is already in a really good spot. This kind of solidifies them as a top tier team. Well, obviously they've been that way, but I mean, like, above and beyond where kind of Saiyans and Sun family have been sitting for a long time. Like, he's not that crazy to where I'm just crying. I think, you know, Super Saiyan 3 Goku Zenkai is far superior.
Yes,
but
I agree.
we're not worried about that. So I think the main thing
should be. You should all be fearful.
Yeah, bow down to the one god.
No, but when we're talking about the LF SSJ3, that's a question to Ryuden then. How do you compare the defenses of both units? Like, I've seen they have pretty similar stats. Where do you see the advantage? Which unit?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but does 17 have a sustained damage cut passive?
Yes.
I know,
yes.
How much is
30%.
And it's permanent, right?
Wait, let me check.
It's
15 timer counts when you enter the battlefield.
Okay, then I guess it's tricky just because for Super Saiyan 3 it's 20%, but it's ongoing. It doesn't go away. But I think on a defensive front, 17 probably takes that. He just has more tools. Actually, no. Super Saiyan 3 takes his green card's better.
Yeah. I gotta say Super Saiyan 3, it's way harder for me to pop than the Super 17. And then you can couple that with the new yellow Vegeta and all the other defensive abilities that Saiyans have. He is, and his items and everything, you cannot kill that man if he's actually stacked up.
Well, when we're talking about the items, did you know, like, the 17 has access to raw, strike defense, and blast defense? Like, if you get that item to max, you're not gonna kill him.
Which one is it?
Are you talking about that one Android's equipment? I think I know what you're talking about. Hold on, what's it called?
There's two. he gets like
I'll pull it up
insane
here in a
amounts of
second.
HP and up to, I think, 6% blast defense, raw, and strike
Is this the
defense.
awakened one?
Yeah.
This should be
There's
fun.
one
Blast
called
defense,
there's one called
HP.
I Will Crush You, and you get up to 6% to strike attack per android battle member.
No, not
That's
strike
not that-
attack.
No, that's not what we
Defense.
want. But I
I'm
know you can
tripping.
sag his HP because he's got that Dr. Giro item too, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. This one is for blast attack. It goes up to 6%. And crazy amounts of HP as well.
No, I can see that. You know, my main thing with the Super Saiyan 3 Goku is when I run into it, he's always coupled with that yellow Vegeta. Sometimes, when he's on Sun Family, it's way easier for me to kill him. When he's on the pure Saiyan team, and they're stacked with HP bench and the yellow Vegeta, I don't know. But it's very possible that I just haven't found an optimized 17 on the ladder yet. And obviously, I don't run the unit, so I can't speak from experience.
Oh, I can speak from experience. Someone definitely optimized Super 17. Let's just say it's not a lot of fun to face it.
Would you say that guy's name is Tom Zor?
I don't know. I saw a Zor in there. There's a Tom, Palm. I don't know. It's something like that. All I know is he came up with a very, very interesting setup that's quite a bit painful, and I really hope no one gets inspiration from it. So I recommend that you just don't do it
What
anymore.
did when you fought him, did you send him a message or anything, or?
Oh yeah, I had to
What could that be?
absolutely applaud the incredible big brain play that he set up there. Which, by the way, was genuine. I'm not trying to flame anyone. I
So
thought
like
it was
good
like
game
this is creative.
or what
Good
do we,
skill.
I think it was a combination of Tom, please don't send this again, and I think it was like there was a face. I don't know, something like that. There was a message and a face and a green square. It's one of those. I don't know.
Look, if it makes you
Too
feel
long
any
ago,
better, I've sent Goresh a good party before because he always changes his name. I didn't even know I was fighting him, and I was just like, who's this person trying to troll me with 1000-day Bulma? Like, good party.
Dude, that's like half the fun when you find the YouTuber guild on ladders. Who am I fighting today?
Yeah, that's
I don't even really pay attention to it or look at it. I just look at their team, pick my team, and then I'm on my way. I guess I should look
Well,
at that more often.
I've never seen a 14-star Gogeta blue on ladder, so I knew I found Goresh yesterday.
man.
I don't know. I don't really take or like. I don't know. If people send me the salty messages, I laugh about it. I don't really see the salt in it, so I kind of do the same. But I don't know if people take it more seriously. Then I apologize if I've ever sent you a good party.
For me, I just disabled the feature that the fact that it shows up after the match. I can look at it if I go to the battle history, but I just disabled the fact that it pops up from on the top.
I didn't even know you could disable
Yeah, I
it.
didn't either.
Yeah.
My favorite ones are when you and whoever you're facing, you're like, you think you have like a gentleman's agreement because you're like 100 timer counts in, thinking, oh, I guess he wants to be cool. We're pretty neck and neck. He just doesn't want to go for any rushes.
And
That's
then
cool.
rush
I'll
ban.
follow suit. And then at the end, they use it, and then they send you dry your tears. You're like, man, I thought we had a gentleman's agreement. What do you mean dry my tears? I'm disappointed. How could you?
I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Okay, mom.
It's no big deal, but those are my favorite ones because I'm like, there's no way you said this with a smile on your face. You're thinking to yourself, oh, I shouldn't do this, but I want to feel like I won, so I will send it.
They should add a Chi-Chi PvP message that just says, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, Chi-Chi giving somebody a slapping Goku or something.
Yeah, she could have like the wooden spoon or the spatula in her hand and look at you all condescending like.
That would actually be a really good toxic message.
That's true.
And that's honestly the main reason why, I prefer playing No Rising Rush, but I only do it with people that I've previously agreed with, because, I've been down that road so many times where it's like, oh, this guy's not going to Rising Rush, and then as soon as I start winning, boom, he Rising Rushes. So it's just hard to trust people, honestly.
Yeah, a lot of times,
fair.
I'm of a more passive playstyle anyway, where I'll save my rush for later on in the game where it's more decisive, as opposed to, going for the 2 rush. So sometimes I'll just wait. If the match is really good, it's really close. Sometimes I'll just wait until they Rising Rush before I do. And all right, they did it.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about doing it.
Makes sense.
I mean, more often than not, I'm also just coming back. The other person rushes early, but then you just want to pick your rush target more carefully and not just get one vanish out. Especially if they have a pivot unit, I don't know, let's say Father-Son Kamehameha Gohan, you want to rush him. So yeah, maybe you'll just wait a little bit and rush that person.
Yeah.
Just rush everyone and everything.
Yeah, the thing
times.
is sometimes I find people of like, friends guilds. I'm like, I don't know. How do I feel about this? And then they hit you first. You're like, oh, okay. It seems you settled it. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Let's go.
Bam.
Rising Rush immediately flying right at them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about other people, but I definitely go into this game with the mindset that it wasn't designed to be super fair, right? So you just kind of, I don't know. There's no reason to get super salty over it.
Yeah.
But
You just never
With
know.
that said,
You're like,
I
'cause
agree,
you
but
don't
with that
wanna-
said, I
you
get
don't wanna
very
stomp.
salty.
You just don't want to stomp on anyone's toes because it's like, do I know you? I don't want to. I don't know. Maybe you're thinking, you know what I mean? It would be easier if there's just a flag. Just make a small flag that lets you know, like a community-wide knowledge. Like if in your name you put, NR there.
Bro, they already do, and it's a lie. And they'll keep putting NR in their name. And you're like, oh, no Rising Rush. Then do right at 169 counts.
Yeah, that's
I
like-
know. How, the second I was saying it, I was like, it's not going to
They
work.
already
That
do this crap. And
I
it's gonna
think we
post on
are slightly getting off topic here.
off
so-
topic a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I think we have some speculating to do, gentlemen, and I will hand it over to Ayuden to start speculating. What are you expecting from the new game mode? And what do we know?
All right, yeah. So stepping away from PvP and all the craziness, we got a new PvE mode coming. A lot of us saw a little bit of details here and there about it. From what we know, it sounds like what was it called? It wasn't auto chess, right? I think it was something like that. That's what was the name for it.
Yeah, it's like you set your units on the board, and then it plays it out for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what
So I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I just said my original tweet when I was teasing it about, I was like, Dragon Ball Legends auto chess, yay! It is very similar to that.
If you ask me though, I like how they went about it because they knew that at the game's core and the way that it is played, they knew that they couldn't change that too much, and they tried it with co-op, and for us, obviously that wasn't too enjoyable. If anything, it felt a little bit clunky. So they took it at a different approach. It's like, all right, we're gonna make the playing a level above it, and then the game will handle that core part, so you don't have to feel like you're playing it the same way. And I like the idea. It just feels like a more slower pace, less chaotic, less toxic PvE mode that you guys can play. Something simple that you could enjoy. The only thing that does kind of stink is we all noted that there is a different energy bar system for this game mode, and there probably isn't a way to refresh it because I didn't see a plus near it or anything like that. So I guess it tells you that they plan on having you guys, spend most of your time strategizing and not just ripping right through the entire event. And we also know that there are seasons to it too, so my hope is that that's not, I don't want it to just be a PvP with a few extra steps. I don't want it to be that, there's a ladder, there's competitiveness, like we're not fighting each other, but I'm fighting the AI, then my score is fighting your score kind of thing. We don't know too much so far, but to me it has promise.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else
Yeah.
feels the
So
same.
They've already
my-
also been pretty open, just saying that this is a test. They're going to gather data and make necessary changes. So I feel like it's going to be pretty fluid in terms of its initial rollout.
Now they did mention some type of leaderboard, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my
okay.
biggest
There are
concern with this is
seasons to
they got a leaderboard. The game plays itself, right? So your raw stats mean more than anything now, right? Because
Yeah.
you can outplay your opponent with a team you enjoy. Now, the better team's going to win.
But we don't even know if or how red stars and dupes factor in. Looking at the screen, it says position your character strategically. So it seems like if you discover the holy grail of a team build and how to align them on this 9-square grid.
But that's just it. A meta will form inevitably. It's going to happen. Somebody's going to figure out these units together, form this combination, and it's going to win. And that's going to be the team that you're going to summon for. And units are going to start coming out that are going to be designed for this game mode. We're going to have to discuss whether or not they're going to be applicable to this game mode or PvP or where their more value is going to lie, right? And my concern is that we're going to shoot into a meta very quickly. And you know how we're saying, androids, you see androids everywhere. Well, what if it really was definitively the best team? And that's all you see is this season, you got to summon for this android because it's key for this unit, and the auto chest goes, right? And that's my biggest concern with this unit, or this mode.
Yeah, I don't think we have a lot of auto chess games out there, but I don't think any of them have been like foundationally based upon a gacha game. So this could be like very new and different.
The thing is though, I don't think they would do something like that. You know, it could be like Yu-Gi-Oh! In that the meta, there's also like a set of rules. Maybe for all we know that they're gonna set it up so that certain characters are just better. You know how we get boost modes in PvP? It's like, oh, if you use these characters, you get one extra adventure or whatever. No one cares about that, but for this PvE mode, what if they say, hey, if you use Shallot and, you know, Kefla and Bergamo and Red Goku, then those units for this season do 200% more damage or whatever. I know it's gonna stink because, you know, what if you don't have them? But what if they make it just really, really common characters, so in that way people don't have to feel like they're left out. I think they're gonna cycle around which ones would work better with the mode, just to spice things up.
Well, they have the bosses, right? And so that's a way of them, instead of having boost characters, they changed the boss and changed the layout that you're fighting through. So obviously your combination would change. You don't really have to have boost characters, because you said some people might not have them. You might only play girls and Rival Universe, so you might not have summoned for Saiyans or anything like that, right? And so I think it's essential that they stay away from boost characters. At least if they, at least like a, you know, an event character, and they want to make that character more potent for the run, or Shallot or something, then I'm okay with that. But if the latest units drop, the new banner comes out, and just like with co-op and everything else, those are the units that get boosted to like the extremity. Because right now, the LF units get like 100%, 200% damage increase, Dragon Ball gain, and like everything under the sun. And then the old generation units get like 50% damage increase, right? And that's how co-op and raid has been for a while. And if they do that for this, then I'm fearful that, you know, they're going to want you to run Kid Buu and Rose on your team with Broly, and that's going to be the optimal setup because powerful opponent season or whatever.
Doesn't even really look like you're going to be playing against the ghost teams of other players. It just looks like you're fighting the AI and you're only battling versus other players on the leaderboard spots.
I believe that is
what you're doing.
It'd be kind of cool if you could play other actual human players like ghost pre-made teams in this.
I mean,
as
like
well.
the Dokkan World Tournament?
What's to stop someone from just making a paralysis team, for all we know, just to smite people?
I mean, the only response I have to that is I don't even know if the current buffs and abilities of the characters will even carry over into this mode. Like, what is?
Yeah, it says something like chain abilities together, but like, what does that really mean? Like, when you really think about that, what does that mean when you're chaining these units' abilities together? Like, I'm just interested to see how that works.
The way I see this playing out in my head, right, is kind of like what Raiden said about it being kind of like auto chess, but at the same time it being kind of like Final Fantasy also. So battles use an automatic turn-based system, and in this picture they have like Shallot and Frieza in the front row. So I would see that if I think Final Fantasy or something like that, those are the warriors in the front row. Then you have like support or healing in the mid row, and then the back row you'd have like your long range or whatever damage dealers. So like say Shallot comes out and he just like does a punch move, and then his turn is over and it moves to the second character, and you have like Super 17 come out and he paralyzes somebody. So does that mean that like it's like Final Fantasy where on your next turn it's just like paralyzed, and then it skips your turn or something? Like we don't really have any idea how this works at all.
If it played like Chrono Trigger, I would be so happy. I would be down for that. It's like, yes, please, I'll take that. Fire Emblem, Chrono Trigger, like those turn-based, I'll take it.
Yeah, and then like you can, Chrono Trigger is extremely nuanced where you could like get the two characters to team up to do like special animation attacks and stuff. That would be dope.
It would be.
But
they talked about having that in co-op, and maybe in co-op it's not feasible to have combination attacks like that. But in a game like this, it would be feasible, especially if it's technically solo. You're not worried about your opponent loading any assets or anything like that. You could have fusion units and all sorts of crazy nonsense start taking place.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that statement at all. It definitely has more room for them making animations look better because it's turn-based, like you said. They could pull off something that's like, I don't want to say like Knights of the Round for Final Fantasy VII because that's just too long, but they could do like an animation more thematically like that if it's just for like a Final Fantasy-esque like
Bro, you pull out the one summon out of all Final Fantasy, you pull out Knights of the Round, it's like 8 minutes long.
I know, that's why. I was like, they could do stuff a little more like that, but probably that's like too much of the extreme example. We're not going to see anything that's that long, right? I hope not, but maybe they could finally introduce, like Palm was just, or a Professor, I've done that twice now. A Professor was just saying how like you have two characters come together. Maybe we could finally get like the spiraling camera angle Goku and Vegeta Kamehameha Gallic Gun like attack where they actually do that like together. You know, maybe they can animate that for this move or something.
That's actually a really good point. When you think about it, the possibilities are endless. What they can do with this, like animation-wise, like they could really go deep into it if they wanted to.
Yeah, so they've only scratched the surface in terms of sharing details, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm optimistic for it. I'm naturally optimistic, but I mean, just for a new way to play the game,
Yep.
I'm all for it.
I've been begging them on Twitter, like, you have all these core foundations in here, just give me a new way to play. Like, for the longest time I was begging them, like, publicly on Twitter, like, give us like a Hearthstone mode, or give us like a mode like the Kakarot card battler in the game. Give us just any other way to use these beautiful mobile assets that you've developed to play differently, besides the same old laggy PvP slog. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I like playing fighters too, but when I play fighters, I usually like play a lot for like a month or two, get really into it, and then I take a break for a few weeks or a few months, and then I come back. But that's not really as conducive to A, being a YouTuber, or B, like a mobile game where they want you to play it every day, right? So
yeah.
So Tom, I have a question for you. As somebody who grinds PvP pretty much all the time, what would this mode have to make you invest some of the time you usually grind into that?
If there's no Rising Rush, I'm a grinder then.
Well, I mean, the energy system is separate. I'm really hoping this energy system... I don't know if you guys have played Fire Emblem Heroes, but they've got like their arena mode, right? And every day it refreshes the arena energy. And you don't get it back on a timer. You're not worried about logging in every 3 hours to make sure you clear out your energy. You have your daily energy you can use. And I'm really hoping, since, as you, I think it's Ryuden that said it, that it looks like they're wanting you to strategize and think about what you're doing in this mode more than usual, right? And especially since there's no way for you to pay to get your energy back, that I think that it's going to be high investment. You're going to spend maybe 15, 20 minutes a day setting it up, and I hope that's how it is. It's not some co-op slog where you're just slapping the cards. Like, you're actually going to sit down and think and be rewarded at the end of the road.
yeah, I both agree with you and also want that, because like from the wording here, it's like there's seasons, there's ranking, there's a leaderboard, but there's that energy system, right? So maybe the leaderboards will actually be more determined based off how well you perform over the limited amount of runs you get, compared to our PvP that we have now, which, yes, skill does play a factor in the leaderboards as it is right now, but we all know that being in Japan and also having just more time to just grind the game out are both huge advantages to getting you higher on the leaderboard, and skill is downplayed a lot compared to that. So if they could flip the script on that a little bit, because they know that you can always go back and play PvP, right? You can still keep your eyes on the game 24/7, so maybe they can facilitate a mode that's not grind determined, right? That would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, it all comes down to what we get out of that mode. Like, if we don't get any rewards whatsoever, only like a top ranking, then I don't think anyone will care.
Yeah.
Well, I'm absolutely certain that those 500 Chrono Crystals they took away from us is going to be in this mode, if not even more intense.
Yeah, like what if it's the same rewards as PvP? Like for top 10,000, you get 1,000 Chrono Crystals. Then you're compelled to rank in both PvP and this mode to get 2,000 Chrono Crystals for free every reset, right?
No, yeah, I'm thinking, especially because they're putting a leaderboard behind it, we could expect a recurring resource, multi-Z power, and Chrono Crystals.
And titles probably. So
most definitely titles.
I know that some people, they are in it for the shiny little placards that you can throw on your name when you play PvP or something else. So if there's a title involved and it looks cool, even if there are not that many resources, I'm pretty sure that there are some people who definitely want that title.
Oh, just because we brought up titles randomly, they need a title for having titles. That way, because we have so many of them.
So many.
If you had a title for getting 10 top cut titles, and you get an extra one for that, or completing, if you get the co-op titles completed, you get an extra title for completing the co-op titles to say, hey, I have 50 of these things done.
I actually really like that idea.
There's an easy way to facilitate that with stuff they already have in the game. Like if you look at those bronze titles we have, they go up to like 20 star. So you could just have your like a star count increasing next to your top cut title for how many times
you just have a title called the King of Titles, and every time you get a title, it feeds into it or whatever.
Oh yeah, they should have a title that says Man of 1,000 Titles when you just get, and like that's a joke. But if you want also recognition for like how many times you've gotten the top cut, they could add that little star counter to it, like they do for like the Fighting God and the other one that's like Equipment Master and the Zenny Billionaire or whatever one, those ones just keep starring up, and that lets you know, like, okay, if someone's using that title and they have 20 stars, they've had to put time into the game, right? That's like equivalency of what that means. It's not something you just buy or pick up the game and instantly get, so that would be a good way to give some recognition to those people.
I still just rock the Sausage Grill Master title.
Bro, that one goes up to like 20 stars too, doesn't it?
Does it? I only have 10 star.
I mean, maybe it was.
I think it was an adventure title. So
yeah, it was like a 10.
I was like, bro, if it goes to 20, man, I gotta start getting some sausages.
No, the best one is Cell Nightmare in Broad Daylight.
Sounds like Nightmare on Elm Street. Nah, like I'm rocking the Ginyu Force member title. Gotta represent the boys.
Yes, sir.
All right, so
now it does say. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick. Now, so it does say highest league. That makes me interested to see, like, is there gonna be maybe different like difficulties of leagues? So like maybe if you want to go really hard and grind really hard, then there's like a top tier league, and then maybe there's like a mid tier league.
It looks like it's based off this route that you pick, right? So like,
okay.
No, I think that's going to be how you get your points. If anything, a league system typically is when it seeds you, it's going to put you with a group of 1,000 people that pre-registered for an event like this, or as an active account or whatever, and those are the people you compete against rather than a global setup.
Oh, you're talking about like like Doke in the World Tournament, how they have like the local divisions and then the global division.
That's typically when they have leagues in these kinds of games. It's a smaller set of people that you play against, and then there's obviously the overall scores. But if you win in your league, you get a set of rewards, and then if you win overall, you get a set of rewards. That's typically how these things go.
Oh, okay, in the highest league. Yeah, it does mention that word.
Yeah, so we'll see about that.
Okay, so another way that could be is it's determined off the amount you participate, right? Like the battle plans that they do. They have like casual, medium, and I play the game a lot tiers basically, right? So
oh man, that'd be interesting.
Maybe if you play the game more casually, it'll put you in like, because I think of it like Hearthstone, right? Like you start in bronze and then you move up to silver, then you move up to gold, then you move up to platinum, then diamond, then mythic or whatever. Or like even League of Legends has a similar system. Maybe that's kind of how it works. Like basically, the more you play, the better you perform. The game will automatically move you up in those leagues, those tiers. It's a Japanese game and they translate stuff funny, so I don't always know how to interpret it.
I know this is petty, but I bet we're gonna get a new flair with this system. Something to go next to your name. It can't just be another title. Like, because let's say you're gonna go crazy, right? You're gonna grind number 1 of this and of PvP. How do you tell the world you got both? I know, right? I could totally see a new flair coming to the game. This is the same kind of patch that gave us red stars and Zinkai. I don't think it's just a new game mode. There's gonna be like UI changes and all sorts of nonsense we're about to see.
Yeah, I mean, there were already some quality of life changes announced, and Prof, I'm pretty sure you're excited about at least one of them, right?
Yes, I am. In fact, I'm waiting for it. I've been barking it on pretty much every podcast if you guys gave me 5 seconds. But auto sell 50 items at a time, yes please. Like, I'm gonna run out of rare metal. Like Goresh and everybody that summons a ton, complains about how they have endless rare metals. Just watch, they're gonna run out.
The Z metals.
Yeah, Z metals. Yeah, because you're gonna be able to buy like 200 items at a time, and sell, 180 of them, keep all your gold slots, roll them, see if you get a double gold or double red or whatever, sell, rinse, repeat. And they won't have to spend a single chrono crystal. They'll use all their whaled out, metals, and then bing, bang, boom, you can see any item in that shop. If you scroll down that shop and look at all those items, and just imagine having 6 Z's of it, and you can make a team out of that, right? So people that summon a ton and have a ton of those resources saved up, this is a huge change. You're able to do it right now, but it's going to take you hours. With this change, just the auto-click button alone, you're saving your joints from pressing it literally hundreds of times. But you can just go back and forth. Like I'm gonna buy items when this change comes out, stash them up in my inventory, sell everything that isn't a red slot, and rinse repeat until I have about 60, 70 reds, and then I'm just gonna do item multis of pure red items and see how many because you're not gonna spend it. Because guys, if you go for an item, right, and there's obviously the legendary triple gold slot S, but if you go for these items right now and you just kind of mass upgrade, it's going to be a waste of chrono crystals if you don't go for the double gold slot before Awaken. And hopefully, because we're hinting at item changes, they just completely overhaul the item system in general. Like Nas could go on for days, I'm sure, about how much he hates resetting.
Oh, I would love it if this mode didn't involve you having to put equipments on your characters at all. Like, if it's just the synergy between who you pick and how you set them up on the grid and you don't even use equipments, I'll be in heaven.
Well, I'm not saying they wouldn't use equipments, but one of the biggest angst in the community is the re-rolling system, how awakened items themselves require so much resource. And like, there's a green female warrior item that I want right now, but it's cursed. The first slot could be either strike or blast, and then you have to get a high roll of it, right? That's just...
Oh yeah, you'll get the high roll, but it'll be the opposite stat as the one you want.
God.
So you just go ahead and, find the nearest bridge, but it's... Hey, hopefully this 3.0 patch overhauls the item system. I bet this is the tip of the iceberg right here for the auto sell, because there's a lot of just understanding which items are better, like how we've complained about shops and how there's items everywhere and you have no idea where to find them. I mean, I'm really hopeful that they're going to go much further than just giving me a 50 auto sell button. Like, I bet this is just a teaser.
Yeah, I mean, it's a major update, right? So major updates usually mean kind of game-breaking changes. I think I already said that the last time. And yeah, with that, I mean, what other updates did they already announce? There were a couple of other things, right?
They're condensing all of that skip ticket stuff where it goes through sets of 10 and it takes the same amount of time as before to actually get through it. So they're condensing that so you can skip the skip animation, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this was...
That's needed. That's so needed.
You also can skip
the skip animation.
Literally,
Dude,
right?
It was cool the first 2 times, and then it got so annoying that it took forever.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Like, why? It blew my mind right now, guys. Go spend 100 energy and do freaking skip on the Zenny stage, and you see empty box after empty box.
Oh yeah, because they took out the gold bars that drop, right? That was the sleeper thing too. Just like they took the energy out, I don't ever see those gold bars dropping anymore.
No, that's a weekend thing, man. But
only on the weekends you get the gold bars.
Yeah, that's a weekend thing. But regardless, that's not engaging content by any stretch. It's more convenient, sure. But, I mean, that should have been immediately like, why not just have one universal loading screen if I do a time? Like,
yeah.
I know if you fill up your inventory while you're doing the skips, it'll actually just stop bid skipping. So it hasn't rolled every single skip when you pay for it. It just starts doing it.
Yeah, it literally does it one set at a time, like you just said.
You're watching it live. And so...
Which is dumb because you can go over your equipment limit by a few, like in some cases. Like if you did 10 and the game just determines like, oh, we're going to drop 15 pieces of equipment on this set of runs instead of 5, but you only had room for X amount, like it'll overflow a little bit and you just won't be able to do anything until you get rid of them. But yeah, I don't know. If they could condense it down so it's just that final screen, then... I don't think it would be problematic at all. I like seeing Goku flying around a little Nimbus cloud. I just don't like seeing it 10 times.
I think the only thing that was good for was when let's say you spend 100 energy on Zenkai Krillin, but you actually Zenkai 7 him after 60. Then basically it stops there and gives you back the rest of the energy. And I wonder if it was just like a first version where they couldn't find a workaround to implement this cleanly, and now they have. Maybe that's what it was.
It was brought up a couple podcasts ago, and I believe it's probably the case is that a lot of these internal systems in the games are trademarketed, and they can't completely copy another game's skip mechanics. And I bet they're having to work around and make their own, because that's how it was described in the first place, why it was even convoluted. And I bet that has a big deal with it. But, you know, I agree. It as Nats pointed out, the game doesn't let you do anything when you fill up your items over full anyways. And if you did a 10 skip and you got a ton of items dropped, you were able to go over your item limit anyways. So the game will just break you until you go and you sell all the items.
Right.
And there's really no reason... well, what Palm said is actually a quality of life feature, in my opinion, that you can mindlessly just go grab Krillin. But if I'm wanting to go grab a bunch of resource really quickly, don't stop my skips halfway through. Just consume them all. Tell me I'm overloaded, and don't let me do anything until I fix it. Right? And so that's
I would actually
something
like that a lot better.
Yeah, and then if they do that, then they can skip all 10 screens, give you one Goku flying on the cloud for a fat minute while the game processes, and then bam, here's your final resorts.
Yeah.
I mean, that would only happen for adventures anyways, right? Since not for adventures, for equipments. That's the only thing that breaks you from playing, right?
No, there's the Nas brought up the gold bars. That bricked me today. You know, you can hit a limit on the gold bars, and
damn.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, there's a limit, and then it'll start dropping them in your mailbox and won't let you skip anymore.
Wow.
Okay. I think there's also like a 10 billion Zenny limit or something. Or was that dope?
Oh.
I heard.
I don't know. I'm just stocking up because, I mean, I used all my Zenny and stuff doing 125 races on that plat item and failed.
Shit. Sounds fun.
And speaking of skipping, they're also adding the option to skip the Zenkai Awakening summon animations, which is a little misleading, right? Because you can already skip the actual summon animation portion of it, but what I think they're alluding to is like where it forces you to look at, you hit Z1,
updates.
Here's all the stats, and then it scrolls all the way down the page, and it scrolls all the way down the page, and it's like all the changes. I think that's what it's saying that they're letting you skip, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Would it be that? That's not a summon.
Well,
but that's part of the animation, right? Because as soon as they star up, you get stuck in that, and then you have to like wait until all the text loads. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to.
Yeah, it does say summon animation. I don't know.
Zenkai so I think that the summon animations for Zenkai is completely pointless. Like, you don't watch the Zenkai animations and you're like, oh, red sky, right? Nothing like that happens. It's skip, exactly. So they just need to have a button to where you press it and it dispenses souls. And I said this for a while, that the summon animation made absolutely no sense with it. And I think to counter the it annoys me too, if you're just Zenkai 7ing a unit all in one sitting, it is obnoxious to keep going up a rank and then hearing the little Zenkai sounds. But you know, when you save up those crystals, or you've been doing the daily summons and you hit the next level of Zenkai, I mean, it's kind of satisfying. So I don't think they're trying to add a skip feature for a total of 10 seconds of, screen time. But
you can already skip and I agree with you. First and foremost, it actually is worse than what you mentioned, because if I'm Zenkai summoning and I see like a really banging animation, like for example, Broly were to come out. I know he can't or whatever because it's Legends Limited. But if I saw something like that, it's like friend summoning in Dokkan, and I got the Shenron animation when I was friend summoning in Dokkan, and that was the only time I ever saw it. It's like a kick in the nuts like that, right? Like, this could have been on a banner that would have guaranteed me a new LL unit, but no, instead I got 2 stacks of 500 Zenkai power. Like, that's not bad, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's hype.
But it's just like I don't know. It feels like it would be like, it would be upsetting to me to see that when it could have been on a brand new character, and instead it's just like, I already have this character, I'm just powering him up, so the summon animations don't feel as valuable, I guess.
Frankly, in my personal opinion, Zenkai should have never been something you summon. It needs its own upgrade page at this point, especially if every unit in the game is going to go through Zenkai. It just needs its own upgrade page. You can have the rotating Zenkais, you can have the stuff you exchange for your Zenkais, everything to grab the materials. Maybe there's limited time Zenkais that aren't typically on rotation that you can grab, stuff like that. And it needs its own upgrade panel at this point, because for the community, we follow the game every single patch, but a lot of people see these units and like, how the heck do I Zenkai it? Oh, okay, and then they go to the Zenkai page. Oh, he's not there because they don't have him 7-star. They get him a 7-star. Wait, where is he? Right? Like there's that general confusion in the community right now, and they could do away with that immediately if they just had a dedicated area for it. They could walk people through it, and they could see when units are coming. Well, actually, they probably will never tell us when units are coming back, but you know what I mean. Like they already made huge strides with the Zenkai Rush, right? Where they're adding units to it. I think they just added Purple Gohan, and so if they keep trickling units into that, then we'll have them all anyway. So I think we just need that replicated. Just do it with the summons all together. You can have paid for stuff, like we have the missions tab that consumes your chrono crystals. They could have other buttons in the game that take your chrono crystals. It just, the Goku summon animation is kind of silly.
I mean, I have to say, I'm kind of curious what that haste feature for the adventures is going to be, because it says that you can speed up your adventures. I wonder if it's just like, I don't know, spend more Zenny or put 5 more units on it or something.
Crystals.
I don't know.
I'm almost certain it's just going to be spending chrono crystals.
Ooh.
You press the button, you finish your adventures immediately, you get the rewards you need. I mean, if you need the farm, Zenkai material, or anything at that point, you could just
training.
boom, boom, boom.
So
I'm kind of what is this strategizing in PvP will soon be easier thanks to the battle loading screen showing you the character selections of both players. What?
So you know how in League of Legends, when you're in the loading screen, you can see your opponent's team and you can start talking about what you want to do. Well, you can probably see that before the draft, but if you're just playing normal League, you can see your opponent's team. I'm almost certain during the loading screen, instead of just the blank screen, you're going to see 3 portraits of your opponent's units and 3 portraits of your units sitting there. And it's gonna say like versus, and you can think to yourself, "Oh, he's leading with Gohan. Crap, I picked Boo or whatever." Right?
You think you'd be able to move them during the loading screen, like their placement?
Hell no.
No. Just you can just see them.
It's basically just because right now, when the game starts, you get the screen drop, and then you can see all 3 of your opponent's units, and you're kind of like figuring out what you want to do at that moment. I think during the loading screen, what they want you to do is get a game plan, because realistically speaking, you're going to pick your 3 units, they pick their 3 units, and you kind of bet the 3 units they pick. But sometimes you take a unit that gets completely counterpicked by your opponent just because they took 2 units you would never expected them to bring in, right? And so you can make that mental adjustment during that loading screen. It's not going to be a big change, but it's definitely a nice quality of life fix.
This is going to look cool.
And what I hope, I think Lucy just said, hopefully you can see their first unit. What I'm really hoping is that it has them in order of it. My opponent, you pick them 1, 2, 3, but on the win screen, it's actually ordered based off how they were positioned in your box, or how you had them actually on your team layout, not how the order your opponent picked them in. And so I'm really hoping that when it puts them up on the loading screen, it's not drawing based off the team order position, but based off how the opponent actually picked the units, because that would let you see into the future on who you're about to fight.
Yeah, I kind of hope you don't, because I kind of like the element of surprise there. That you don't.
Well, I mean,
exactly
you're getting that
know
answer.
Who you're picking, who your opponent picked first, because that also kind of makes you have to have these like split-second decisions once the battle starts. When you go down on the field, and then you see, oh shit, he brought Fat Boo. Is he gonna tackle? Is he gonna blast card me? Is he gonna wait? Kind of like that.
I can see that.
Well, either way, no matter how you feel, if this is a positive or negative on seeing your opponent's units, it's going to be an ultimately neutral thing for the balance of the game. So it'll be interesting to see how it affects players' mindsets going into play. But anybody worried about this giving someone an unfair advantage, no, it's certainly not going to do that.
I just wish.
And talking about adventures, I am so glad that they finally are giving us the option to delete adventures, right? Wasn't that in one of the other tweets?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe you can remove them.
Yeah, I am so glad. I've been waiting for that for so long.
Well, you never needed adventures to be deleted. Just make them stackable. Make them a resource like every other item in this game. Nobody cares that they're timed. Like, what are you gonna do with a bunch of extra adventures on you? Ooh, I can spam forever, guys, right? It doesn't matter. So if they just made the adventures stackable, like souls or anything else, and then you consume them when you set off adventures, and then they disappear at the end of events, then there would actually be a reason to go do co-op and farm up the Zenkai missions if you would, right? And then you're spamming Zenkai missions for a week, or you could still have them. I don't know how hard that would be for them to program, but
No, you're
if
right.
it was
That's a
just
good point. They really
item,
should be stackable.
yeah, and then you'd be fine. You would have never had the issue of needing to sell them. They would just be there. And like, oh, I got plenty of these 1 hours. Oh, I need to pick up some more 1 hours. Okay, well, buy them and keep spamming. So, I don't know. Maybe there is a reason to keep them timed, but I can't see a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you think about?
I would say we move on, to be honest, just because we have a couple of things that we still want to talk about, and time's a ticking. But Nas, you actually can tell us what you expect from tomorrow's video and stuff.
Oh yeah, I've kept thumbing through this. I mean, I think these have become fairly predictable format now. Like, this is their digital newsletter, right? And they always like start off talking about stuff that they're doing with the game, like what they're able to publicly disclose anyway, like what they feel like is, you know, further enough. Well, not like dungeon mode and guilds anyway, because that was a dropped ball there, them announcing that too early. But I think they've learned now, and they kind of announced the stuff they're ready to announce. So I expect a lot of the stuff we just covered in those previous 3 tweets or whatever to be a topic of discussion, since that's something they've already publicly mentioned. I expect them to flesh out more on that. I expect them to show the next either All-Stars banner or alternatively the Legends Limited unit that's coming out next, and maybe, you know, someone that's going along with them, because they've kind of done either ones. They've usually kind of teased All-Stars units or the characters that are going to be Legends Limited. I expect them to talk about the new game mode. Basically just 3.0 changes. It says a huge announcement, and
new character info.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume the huge announcement is probably not something they've already teased, right? Like, it's not gonna be the new game mode. It's not gonna be sorry. It's not gonna be anything.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. It's not gonna be anything that we have heard already, basically. So, the huge announcement, is it new battle system tweaks? Is it something else that's going to be accessible to all free-to-play players? Or is it something that's going to be mostly targeted to spenders? I'm not quite sure. I'm just anticipating something that they have not already teased, right? And again, another opportunity to plug that tomorrow morning we will be live streaming the reaction to this to get all of y'all's, you know, initial impressions along with whoever wants to show up. So I strongly encourage y'all to come back here tomorrow morning and visit us on Twitch at about 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time is when we'll be starting. I do believe the broadcast starts 30 minutes later at 10 a.m. Eastern. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else y'all might think they're going to talk about. Feel free to add it. I love dude doing the JoJo pose right here in the background. I will say that. Like, straight up.
Isn't that Hits pose?
Yeah, but it's like straight up like Jotaro. If you like look at them side by side, I don't know if that's where he's getting it from, but
I don't think Jotaro invented pointing fingers.
no,
at
but
people.
like the way that his head's cocked, the eyes are looking, the fingers pointing, it's like it's almost 1-for-1 that Jotaro pose. Like,
It looks like he's out for revenge.
Yeah, maybe that's
Yeah,
the
I-
announcement, is a collaboration with JoJo.
So it would be near impossible to speculate on who we could see, but I'm really hoping to see some PvP footage with a really weird team on my opponent's team here in a minute when we watch that. So maybe a little scratch to, you know, the itch that we're going to see, you know, who's coming, who's Zenkai, what teams we're going to be in.
It would be cool if they decided to do the first year anniversary like teaser where they're doing their showdown, but someone has a team of 2 or 3 new characters with like someone super special there too.
Dude, yeah.
Yes. Like I absolutely love it. You don't need to give me kits. You just need to tell me it exists and tease me, right? I would love it if they show us a new game mode, and during that, you know, during the new game mode, you see like, wait, I don't recognize that Vegeta.
I love how you chose Vegeta specifically because everyone still talks about how that Vegeta in the advertisement doesn't exist yet, and is he new? Is this a new Vegeta? Cell Saga Vegeta? You know what I'm talking about?
look,
Oh, I said Vegito.
Oh, you said Vegito. I heard Vegeta.
Look at the pose and tell me that is not Jotaro on screen.
His finger is pointing down. He's missing the hat. His chin is chiseled. I don't know what this guy's is.
I'm pretty sure that's Hit's pose in the Dokkan art, though.
Nah, still hung up on Jotaro.
Chat, I'm gonna need you to back me up on this.
All right. Yeah. What about the other guys? What do you think, Tom? What do you think is gonna happen tomorrow? Tom fell asleep.
No, my mic was muted. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. Alright. I'm hoping for more GT support, actually, because I'm having fun running the team right now with 17. If we get some more, dude, I'm hyped for that.
Brad, what about you?
So I'm playing PvP at the moment as well.
You always play Legends while we're talking about Legends. Hilarious.
Well, I wonder why, because we're talking about it. So I'm like, I do kind of want to play for a second. I'm fighting a Zenkai 7 bar. I can say. Okay, we're good.
All right, well.
So essentially, I'm hyped about tomorrow. I really am. I don't think we're gonna see anything absolutely insane. Like, I don't think it's gonna be like game changing for the actual core game, right? I think it's just gonna be the new thing. Did it say there's a character reveal specifically?
It says new character info.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's gonna be something then with that one. I mean, it's got to be a Legends Limited, I would imagine. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be...
I mean, they once did that mini video and stuff for launch and Yamcha, right?
That's pretty true. And then Champa and Vados also got one.
That is true.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense, and it would be a what's it called?
All-Star banner.
Yeah, an All-Star banner for sure. That makes a lot of sense. We haven't had one since who was the last one?
Still,
DKP still the DKP banner is still up. That's
wait, that's the All-Star.
But it leaves in 8 days though.
Yeah.
So
they
normally chain into each other.
Yeah, next one would be due on Sunday next week.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it could be.
8 days, 7 days from now.
I hope they're gonna continue GT because a lot of us want that Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku. It could finally happen, Brad.
It could.
It could finally happen.
I mean, honestly, that'd be pretty heat, though. If it was a transforming Super Saiyan
be.
3 GT Goku, like, I'd be pretty down.
I would be happy.
I still think
I bet you would.
I mean, that would be
come on, dude. It's Dragon Ball related. Let's be honest here. If this was a JoJo gacha, I would agree with you. But why would they pose?
Well, if it was any other gacha game besides Dragon Ball, I would agree. But they don't do collabs. Like, we've seen that. It's so rare. Like,
yeah. Sub diving into the same topic, do you think it's going to be something, whatever they announce, be it LF or All Stars, do you think it's going to be something GT related now that we've got Zenkai Super 17, or do you think it's something else?
So. I think the reign of GT is starting soon. I think they're going to continue this, and then the third year is going to be GT themed.
No, I think that we're getting TOP, and then we'll get GT for 3rd anniversary. But like as Chat's pointed out, all these poses are from TOP that they're doing.
Are they?
So. Yeah.
Every
single pose they're doing.
There's that one that I retweeted. Some kid randomly saw it, and I was like, "Oh, that every single one of their poses matches up to like Hit, Frieza,
but Vegeta, is that a subtle reference by the Dragon Ball art team to JoJo? That is then the question.
No.
Absolutely not.
Nas. People point fingers at each other.
But with the head,
I will
cock,
admit it does look like the JoJo pose. I'm not gonna say it doesn't.
Even Chat has given you a definitive poll.
It was not definitive. It was 51% to 49%. That is pretty close.
That is about as definitive as it gets.
No,
Chat has decided.
Like 99% to 1% would be pretty definitive.
Bro, elections are done on these numbers.
Who cares? Give it a rest.
Yeah, give that chest a rest, Nas.
Either way, let's not read too far into their poses, because let's be honest here. We read the poster with the board, the 3x3 board. We read into Garlic Jr., all kinds of different characters, Tournament of Power, all this other stuff, when in reality it was plain as day. It was,
this could be Garlic Jr. though. Can we talk about that? This could easily be Garlic.
Actually, you're right. It could be. It could be Garlic Jr.
Brad, I heard you had to go, right?
He's the LL I truly want, Garlic Jr.
And here we go.
Okay, so I watched Grish's video where he got his red string out and connected all the dots for this Garlic Jr. stuff, right?
Yeah.
Was that really a fluke?
I mean, that was just us trolling around a little bit, and he thought it would be a good idea.
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not. The world
Like
will
I had my earphones in, so I didn't look at the graphics he put up on the stream. But I'm like, oh, cool, it's actually happening.
and then you were like, psych.
Oh, I was never psyched. I was just like, when the Vegeta came out and everything, I was like, okay.
Yeah, but
Really?
But in all honesty, for update 3.0, I'm hoping that there will be some battle system changes just to spice things up a little bit, and maybe they can fix a thing or two. I mean, I think we still have that green card bug, and then input reading has gotten a little bit lot worse over time. At least it's what it feels like to me. Just a couple of things where they can tweak it to make sure that the timings are better, and maybe one or two new things, or bring something old back, like tap tackle clash. I'm stopping. But I don't know. Some people say like something like an arts card that disrupts a combo, or a support item, like Nasarachi said, you have like a support character, Dende, that revives the character, or something like this. I think it would be cool if we would have like some sort of a disruption to the battle system, where we would have to re-explore PvP or just the game itself. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, because that would bring a lot of players back in too, because the thing that pushes people away the most, I would say, was when the game gets samey and boring. So mixing it up, get people intrigued again. Everyone will be excited to figure out how things work and what changed and everything. And I think that would be great for them to periodically just keep doing that, like changing things about the battle system.
And Nas, I think I saw you tweet something about this, but we need a connection meter for PvP. Just something small like that would be huge.
Yeah, like a ping detection.
Yeah, and it's like, and if it's, let's say it's in the red, and then maybe if it's horrible connection, it'll give you the option to maybe back out. Or if it's good connection, then you don't get the option to back out and you're forced to play it, or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah,
it would be really nice.
The easiest way to get that to work would just be to replicate fighters, and because like they don't tell you the name of who you're playing, so it's completely anonymous. All you get is a connection meter, and if it's like a certain color, they rage quit a lot, right? Well, and that's it. Like, so you're going into the match not really knowing too much information about the enemy, so that those things don't influence your decision. Like, you can't be like, oh, this is a whale, I know I'm gonna back out, right? Like,
right.
So that'll be all anonymous, so you're basing the entire decision if you queue or not based on the connection and their connection rate, like their rate of successful connections, right? Which would just be like, if you're queuing in, it'll be like, they'll be like a little green or a red icon. If it's green, they maintain their connection in matches, and the ping is good. And if it's red, they rage quit a lot, they disconnect, they draw a hack, they do whatever, so you can avoid that match. But everything else anonymous to not influence your decision. I think that would be one of the single best things they could add to PvP.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping for a new PvP mechanic or adjustment that makes it hard at the beginning, but if you master it, you have the advantage. Like something new.
Yeah, something new, definitely, just to spice it
And
up.
I definitely agree with Palm that close range tap attacks should clash with tackle. Like, there's no excuse for them not doing that.
Yeah, because if you have your handful of blast cards, even if you do a time stop, you have to vanish unless you don't have one.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm I like it. I'm sorry. I think that understanding that you can strike lock your opponent and tackle them is a play style. It is a way of approaching the situation. It is a way of forcing it. Like Boo, for instance, is one of the most aggressive examples of this, where Boo can come into the field out of cards and tackle you, knowing damn well that your cards are locked. That is a situation your opponent is now controlling. I like it. I'm sorry. I disagree.
And I
Sounds awful,
actually
honestly.
agree with that as well.
That sounds awful. I hate that.
Well, like Vados, for example, you hit somebody, like for me, I play God Key a lot, and if I hit somebody with the blue card with Vados, I know for a fact their strike cards are sealed, and I have a higher chance of gaining priority with the tackle, unless obviously they time a blast card perfectly or something. But yeah, that definitely creates strategies in its own.
Now, that being said, I would be way down for if tackles could be punished to the last frame. I am so sick of people tackling and then zip right at the very end of it, right? And even though you do the strike arts. So if you want the strike to be a definite answer to tackle, I'm gonna listen to that. but they're due to strike lock being an accessible feature in the game. I have been in a situation where I'm utilizing strike lock, or maybe you're using Ultimate Gohan and you lock your strike, or I brought up the boost situation, and there will be more units in the future that will do this mechanic. And as Swifty just brought up, that's one of the things that Vados can do. Once you hit him with the blue card, you know you kind of control the field as far as tackle is concerned.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, however, I also think that, actually timing the tap clash is also a skill. And I know that it took me forever to learn the timing and make sure that I could, don't hit it too early and just tackle into their tackle and get tackled. Can I say tackle more times?
When does tackle have any value now? If you can do that. Because if you can tap me out of my tackle, then why did I ever tackle you? It is literally a sucker punch. I am literally hoping that every time you see my tackle, you mess up.
Well, then don't tackle.
But then you have now taken tackle out of the game.
I tackle Vanish Shot to bait Rising Rush when the game.
Well, I know, but in Palm's world that he just gave you, your Vanish can be down and you just tap him out of the tackle. Tackle has no green. You have now just taken that entire aspect out of the game, and I disagree. I think that you're removing levels by saying I want a counter to everything. That's the same people that say they want PV removed. Then you've got okay, who has more Vanish bars? That's ultimately going to be what decides the game at that point. If we keep making it to where these decisive answers are taken out,
I think it's going to be who predicts their opponents better, because
there still could be.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I would say there still could be some room for skill play in there. Like maybe you can still cancel a tackle with a tap punch. You just have a very tight window of timing where you have to hit it, right? So you can still mess up, and it still lends those strategies merit that y'all were just talking about. There's a tiny window where if you're trying to shoulder check me and I punch you in the face right when you're coming in, we just return to neutral instead of, one beating out the other or something, maybe. I don't know.
I can see it from both points of view, honestly.
You're the Switzerland of this podcast, Swift. There's a special place in hell for people who remain neutral in the times of crisis. No, I'm kidding. But since you just started talking, we have one last topic before we go. And Swift, I think you wanted to speculate a little bit. What do you think next month's LF is going to be?
Yeah. So basically the way I look at it is so there's certain teams that need help. Obviously it's, for me, God Key needs a red unit, and then you could argue Vegeta family maybe needs some more units. There's a few teams in the meta right now that
don't slander my team like that, bro. Blatantly slandering Vegeta family? No, they're borderline perfection right now. They don't need anything. They're gonna be busted if they get something nasty. But
is ZVG in the
I'm
chat?
good.
Lucy, you guys want to say something?
Dude, ZVG won me over, man. He told me to use Vegeta family. I started using it, and I was like, yeah, this is amazing. Thank you, ZVG. So yeah. Sorry, Swift. Continue.
Oh no, you're good. It's kind of an open-ended discussion anyway. But yeah, for me, obviously me personally, I want a red God Key unit. But other than that, it could almost really go either way. You could argue GT needs some love. So we could I think Ryuden was saying earlier, something, maybe a possible future GT unit could be coming out. It could really go any way with this. What do you guys think?
The way you just kind of cut out right there, you're like,
Sword of Hope Trunks.
Okay, honestly, for me, if it really is gonna boil down to the general theme of what they're doing, because we already know when it comes to Legends, they just stick to one thing. They just keep throwing all the money at that one thing, and then they move on to something else. So if Super 17 is an indication of GT getting some love, then I could see the next month's LF being GT related. I don't know who it would be, but I could see it just being GT related. There's only a handful of moments that actually are worthy of an LF anyways to me. So I could see Super Saiyan 4 Goku with a Dragon Fist. I could see maybe a Spirit Bomb Kid Goku, something like that.
I want to see a baby that transforms from his little shoulder padded version to Super Baby 2 LL, with the LL having the golden ape shooting a mouth beam, just decimating you. Obviously, it's just a feature of the animation, so it could work. You don't actually have any giant characters on screen, but that would be dope. But we haven't had a good baby unit in a while, and we only have one Super Baby 2 unit in the entire game, so.
I don't even know, man. I run through GT, and I don't know, man. What, Hellfighter 17? I don't know who else is dope, besides getting another Super Saiyan 4. Like,
I mean, they could do, if they want to do a bad guy, they could do Omega Shenron. I mean, I know he just got, well, not just got,
Rildo?
but the anniversary unit.
do people like Rildo?
Drildo.
Like, is that a thing?
It's all Super Saiyan 4, Shadow Dragons, and Baby and Super 17. That's where most of the hype.
I wouldn't mind if we got like a free team of the Sigma Force. They wouldn't do that. That's a lot of coding for characters that mean absolutely nothing to the overall thing. But that'd be cool, I guess.
What about the Power brothers? And their attack would be dancing.
Yeah, that, I mean, well, okay, we already have Pycon, so we don't really need another dancer.
But then you can have a full
Pecan,
squad.
sorry.
Pecan.
That's true. That's true, yeah.
Have a
You could have
full-
an entire squad of dancers.
Exactly.
I don't know, just give me Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I don't know, man. I'll take another one, I guess.
Why not just Zenkai Red Rildo? Because he's going to be the true god.
He's actually not even terrible. It's just his Z ability sucks, but he does a lot of damage with his super. Like, he's bad. He's like D tier. But he could be a lot worse, let's put it that way.
Now, if we're talking GT units, what about Oceana Shenron? Now, I don't know if she would be hype enough for an LF unit, but I really would like to see Oceana Shenron in the game. It would be for GT and obviously female warriors. I think they could really make that a cool unit.
She could be
Shadow
dope, yeah.
Dragons?
For a normal, not an LF, but a normal unit, yeah, she could be cool.
Yeah, definitely probably not an LF.
Definitely.
Did someone
probably.
say Oop already? Oop?
It'd have to be, for an LL, it'd have
mean,
to be
Oob would be
Majube,
cool.
though, right? Like, you need Majube
Yeah.
for an LL.
Yeah,
Mustache
that could be a good
Vegeta.
one.
I still don't know if they would LL him this early on because there's more hype units they could make more money off of. So I don't know if they put the time in deving out an LL Majube before they did like LL Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but maybe.
I know.
I
there's-
just
Well,
want them- I don't
they have to do the SSJ Force. Like, I don't think anything else sells as good as them.
I think they could do a great Legends Limited transforming Kid Super Saiyan 3 Goku into Super Saiyan 4 Goku transforming unit. That would be really dope. It'd be also like the first character in the game that actually has like two completely unique character models for one character, so that could be kind
Wait, isn't I mean it's not air quotes completely unique, but the God Vegeta
That's just a recolor of his hair,
and
though, right?
Final Form Cooler.
He is one. Yep, you have Final Form Cooler. That one is.
But those are completely. That's what I'm saying. Like air quotes, not completely different, but he gets buffer, and I guarantee you it doesn't stretch out. That's a completely different model. Oh, sorry, slimmer, I think, right?
Could get golden.
But
Goresh would be happy.
Golden Cooler is actually really cool.
Yeah,
I don't even
GT
care for like
Golden
all the
Cooler.
heroes, but
Yeah,
GT
I don't even.
Golden
And honestly, to finish out my like, what do you think or what do you want to come next? I just want them to start closing loops, like, because once they finish with the vanilla versions of everything, that's when we can get to some more really imaginative stuff, right? So we need to finish the GT loop, like do Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, finish all the GT stuff so that you can go back and start revisiting stuff with cooler versions of them. Like finish Super, that would entail finishing the Goku Black arc, finishing the end of the TOP, and then maybe some more love for Dragon Ball since they started kind of doing that. I could see some love for that too. And then once all those loops have been closed, then we can come full circle and get more units that are updated with new mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, if the poses were any indication of the Tournament of Power, I could think of Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta or like a God of Destruction Topo. I'm just not sure if that Vegeta
Yeah.
wouldn't be anniversary worthy, maybe, instead of just quote unquote like a monthly LF. But I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
And then also Donjay just said MVP 17. I think lots of people also have him on the list somewhere.
they put in a transforming Kefla. I would go on the Fusion team. Fusion's always so well. Tournament of Power. That would be stupid hype.
No, let's not. No more Keflas.
Oh, she has blast armor, and her blast cards nullify blast armor.
That'd be good. Yeah.
I'm an SSJ2 fan, and I love Legendary Super Saiyan. And then Kefla has both. So
No,
that's
I think Kefla's cool, but it's like not this Kefla. I'm not this one.
All right, I think we can leave it at that and close the podcast for this week. Thanks everybody for coming out. Thank you for the level 3 hype train that we had, and thank you V3Q Vegito, I guess, for your 4th month Prime. Do we have any other subs you want to read out real quick, Nas? Or
It was GN gifting out a whole bunch of subs throughout the entire process of the podcast, and Leuni subscribed for 3 months with Prime. P-Slate28, 3 months with Prime. We appreciate both of y'all very sincerely. And what I think GN gifted like 8 subs over the course of the whole podcast. It's 1, 1, 5, and okay, so 7 subs he gifted. So we appreciate all of y'all in that regard. That's about all for the shout outs. So you can wrap her up, Palm.
So thanks everybody for the support, and as always, Twitch Prime is not a crime. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel. The podcast will go live in about 24 hours from now on our YouTube channel. Follow us on our Twitter to stay updated with any videos and streams that we will publish. And make sure to check out all our creators. Give them a follow. You'll definitely not regret that. We have Tom and Prof over here grinding it away on Twitch. We have Brad, Ryuden, and Swift mostly being active on YouTube. And Nas, I think you're more active on Twitter than anything, right?
Twitter and Twitch, 5'9", Twitch, and my own personal Twitter. Those are where I lurk these days.
Speaking of 5'9" Twitch, what's coming up today?
On the schedule, I believe it's going to be Truephoria at 4 p.m. and then either Genshin or whatever Gale and Troko want to stream at 7 p.m. I believe Troko's been playing some other stuff, so I think that just determines on whether Gale shows up. And then I might be back, or Truth, or Gresh, or Nate. We have Overcooked, a ton of other little fun things we can do. And that's going to be 10 p.m. or after. So whole day of fun, right, coming up. So, and then again, it's another opportunity to plug that tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. we will be starting our live reaction coverage to the video and stuff. It is tomorrow morning, the 29th, at 10 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, Eastern time, 10 a.m. is when it starts. We'll be going live 30 minutes early. So if you are available and you want to share in the hype and or disappointment, we don't know yet, probably hype though. If you want to share in that, be sure to come check us out here tomorrow morning. It's very important.
Even if you're in class, dude, just tell your teacher, hey man, I actually need to be watching 5'9". So
tell the teacher to stream it. Just tell them pull down the projector.
Yeah, put it up on the projector. Yeah,
play it.
They gotta have a USB-C port nowadays. Like, that'll work.
If you're in your school, go to the computer lab and hit that on every single desktop you can find.
Need the views, guys.
That's
actually just beat up your principal and then just play it over the loudspeakers for the whole class.
There you go.
You'll
give you a shout out if you do that.
A lot of the chat is saying they're on spring break right now, so that could be very good. If
just end your spring break, go back to school, and then just play it for every
Yeah, just go to the school for like a couple hours. It's not gonna be that long, really.
Yeah. And if you have,
ask your friends and family members if they have extra primes, because Prime is not a crime, and they themselves could sub to 5'9".
They're all adults. They gotta have Prime. Come on.
Yeah, and if you are in online class, make sure to screen share. Okay, like sharing is caring.
Worst case scenario, we'll also have the VOD available. So even if you miss it, you can go back and rewatch it later just to catch yourself up, right? And if we're going to play Overcooked, chat, it'll be after 10 p.m. Eastern tonight. 10 or 11 p.m. So that might be a thing tonight. Maybe. We don't know yet. I don't know what Truth's intentions are. Sometimes he just shows up and takes over, right? So we'll have to see.
All right. And with that said, we're going to sign off. Have a great rest of your week. I hope we will see you all tomorrow for the reaction of video and stuff. And if not, we'll see you a week from now on the next podcast on 5'9 Gaming. Take care, everybody. Sharing is caring. Prime's not a crime. We're out. Bye, guys.
Peace out, everyone. Go check.
Bye-bye.
Go
later.
Go check out our Reddit AMA with 5'9 on YouTube. Just went up the other day. 3 hours of fun.